the sister of a 23-year-old man who stabbed their father to death and attempted to murder their mother, says the tragedy has left her family heartbroken. Garvey Gayle had been admitted to a secure unit just months before he attacked his father Michael, 54, and mother Amanda Brookes, 50, at home. Gayle had been staying at the YMCA following his release but wanted to return to live with his mother in St Mellons, according to Cardiff Crown Court. Ms. Brookes stated that she was concerned about her son's visit and had placed 3 kitchen knives in the fridge as a precaution. Gayle, on the other hand, appeared in a rage on October 16, 2020, after his father, a man described as a brilliant father and family man, came around to the house. Gayle left the house, and while he stood outside, the front door was locked. He did, however, knock on the door and ask for a glass of water before sneaking back inside. According to the evidence presented in court, he took up a knife and repeatedly stabbed his father. When Ms. Brookes attempted to intervene, she was stabbed in the arm, stomach, and side. Gayle also had hallucinations and delusional beliefs, according to the court, including one in which he believed he was in significant debt and that people were going to attack him with machetes. Despite paramedics' best efforts, Michael Gayle died at the scene. His son fled the scene, carrying a Bible and declaring to police that his name was Jesus Christ. Mary Gayle, Michael Gayle's daughter and Garvey Gayle's sister, read a statement to the court that detailed her family's shock and indescribable pain. "The last 2 years were like watching a movie. It doesn't seem real," she said. "It was a horror film that we were all forced to watch. In these circumstances, losing our father and our mother losing her partner has been physically and mentally unbearable." She went on to say that she no longer has the wisest man's ears and that her children have been left without a grandfather. Ms. Gayle also discussed the family's reaction to her brother's mental illness. "What must not be forgotten is that we lost Garvey as a result of his mental health," she said. "It's unimaginable and our family will never be the same again. The last 2 years, as well as the previous 3 years, have been a nightmare. We attempted to get him the assistance he required. We don't know what else we could have done. We said that without professional assistance, something like this was unavoidable, but nothing could have prepared us for what happened. Our father was a family man, and he was doing just that when he died, being the family man everyone knew him to be. This could and should have been avoided. It should never have happened. It should not have taken our father's death for our brother to receive the assistance he required for so many years. We will continue to work so that no other family has to go through the same tragedy of losing a loved one." Gayle's first contact with psychiatric services was in 2018, according to the court, and he was initially detained on January 3, 2020, at the Hafen Y Co-ed Mental Health Unit in Lando Hospital. He was transferred to a low-security unit in Northampton, prosecuting counsel John Hipkin QC said. He was discharged a few months before the incident on June 5, 2020, while staying at the YMCA in Roath, Cardiff. Garvey Gayle was seen at the YMCA on October 13, 2020, but spent the intervening time at his mother's home in Cypress Crescent, according to the court. At 8 p.m. on October 16, Amanda Brookes said the defendant wanted to stay with her at her home rather than at the YMCA, Mr. Hipkin continued. She was concerned about him staying with her because of his mental health, but she was also concerned about him returning to the YMCA. She had scheduled a meeting with the mental health team for the next week. She had taken the precaution of placing 3 knives on top of the fridge in the kitchen the day before. Marlon, Ms. Brookes' mother, and a friend Donna had all paid a visit on October 16. She texted Michael Gayle after they left, asking him to come over. When Michael Gayle arrived, the defendant indicated that he was leaving. He yelled at his father and appeared to be in a rage. While Gayle was outside, he knocked on the door and asked for some personal belongings, which his mother passed to him. She locked the door while collecting his lighter, and her son was sitting on the front wall. He then returned to request water, and Michael Gayle told him his mother would get him some, Mr. Hipkin explained. The defendant entered the house, took a knife from the top of the fridge, and began stabbing Michael Gayle. Michael Gayle initially had his back to him, and Ms. Brookes left to try to rally the neighbors for help. She returned to find herself stabbed in the arm, stomach, and side. Despite the best efforts of emergency personnel, efforts to resuscitate Michael Gayle were futile, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. He had 17 stab wounds to various parts of his body, according to an inquest. Ms. Brookes was stabbed 3 times, and her injuries could have been fatal if not treated. Gayle, who is now 23 years old but was 21 at the time of the incident, has 2 prior convictions, according to the court. He was found guilty of 2 counts of battery, both against his mother, Amanda Brookes. Both of these incidents had something to do with his mental health. The horrific acts that led to such tragic consequences speak for themselves, said defending barrister David Elias QC, and we are acutely aware of the anguish caused to the family, captured so well by the moving statement we have heard read. It's a credit to the family that they recognized Garvey Gayle's descent into mental illness prior to these tragic events was part of this tragedy because Garvey Gayle was very ill at the time of these events. Judge Michael Fitton QC heard evidence from psychiatrist Dr. Chandan Sehgal before passing sentence. Gayle, he said, presented with hallucinations and delusional beliefs, as well as hostility, aggression, threats, and persecutory beliefs. The defendant also discussed killing staff at the mental health unit in order to escape and go on a killing spree, according to the doctor. He also stated that Gayle occasionally heard a voice that sounded so real to him that he would look around the room as if someone was speaking. He also claimed that the defendant would have conversations with himself when no one was present. Gayle was sentenced to orders under sections 37 and 41 of the Mental Health Act and will be detained at a mental health unit indefinitely. Gayle could be heard saying to his mother, "I love you, Mum, see you soon," as he was led to the cells. Our sincere condolences go out to the family. Rest in peace, Michael Gayle.